Now
on 105.9 FM and streaming worldwide on the WMAL app.
O'Connor and Company.
7:06 on this Tuesday morning, the 27th day of August. We're heading into Labor Day weekend. That means we're heading into, well, the home stretch for the election season. And you're right where you want to be for the next 3 months. Coming up at 8:05, Susan Crabtree, Real Clear Politics. Yesterday there was a House panel discussion at Heritage about the Secret Service, and we'll give you details of that. At 8:35, Representative Mike Waltz of Florida talk about the 3-year anniversary of the Kabul airport terror attack at Abbey Gate. I'm Larry O'Connor with Julie Gunlock. Good morning.
Good morning.
Julie. And speaking of the commemoration of that 3-year anniversary, yesterday, as we told you, President Trump was at Arlington National Cemetery. He laid a wreath at the tomb of the unknown soldier. He did a few different events. The aforementioned Representative Mike Waltz was there, as was our guest, a Navy veteran and now Republican candidate for Senate in the Commonwealth of Virginia, Hung Cao. Hung, thanks for joining us. Good to talk with you.
Hey, good morning, Larry and Julie. Thank you so much for having me.
It was striking that no one from the administration was there, that nobody from the executive branch representing the commander-in-chief or the vice president representing the commander-in-chief was there. The fact that it was President Trump, the former president, who had nothing to do with the tragic events of 3 years ago, was the one representing the military and the federal government. What was the scene like there?
I mean, it was somber because, there's tears all around. I mean, Mike Waltz was right there with me, and we were rode in the car together. But like you said, there's nobody from the administration, not Joe Biden, who was responsible for it, Kamala Harris, or even Tim Kaine from Virginia. He's in the Senate Armed Services Committee. We lost 11 Marines, 1 soldier, and 1 sailor because of their incompetence. And not only that, present was this young lady who was paralyzed from the waist down from the Abbey Gate explosion, as well as a young man who lost an arm and a leg. And President Trump spent time to talk to them, to the families, and then those that couldn't make it, he FaceTimed with them right there at the tomb, the gravesite.
Now, there are some reports that the families did not want Biden or Harris there. What do you know about that?
Oh, I don't know anything about that. All I know is that they have to have representation. If President Biden or Vice President Harris doesn't want to be there, or they didn't want him there, at least send a representative. Where's the Secretary of Defense?
So there was literally no representation of the Biden-Harris administration.
Absolutely not. I mean,
Wow.
Joe Biden's off on his second vacation, right? He finished with the first one in California, then went to Delaware.
Yeah. Go ahead, Larry. Sorry.
Well, you mentioned Tim Kaine, and Julie took great pains yesterday to sort of sort through his social media platforms and find out, well, maybe he wasn't there, but maybe he at least he put nothing. The man you're running against, the man who's represented Virginia, one of the most important military states in our nation, with veterans in active duty and bases, and he didn't say anything about this, Hung Cao.
No, I mean, it's just deafening. I mean, he didn't hold anybody responsible. Don't forget that after Abbey Gate, we bombed, an aid worker and 7 children. And where are the stars? Where's Mark Milley's stars? Where's Frank McKenzie's stars on the table for being, for loss of confidence? And so that's the thing. Tim Kaine just runs around the Commonwealth blowing a freaking harmonica. I'm not blowing anything. I'm going to go out there and I'm going to represent the people of Virginia.
You also took after this event. You took Donald Trump out for Vietnamese food. That's
yes. You wanted. Yes.
That's a bold choice, my friend. Hey, Donald, let's get some pho.
That's exactly it. We went there, and gosh, they were so excited for him. I mean, the whole room just cheered when he came around, and then there's people waiting on the behind the security lines and just cheering him on. The Vietnamese American community is so excited. The fact that he knows what it's like, basically what they're turning this country into, which is communism, and that's what we ran away from.
Yeah.
And they're also excited that I'm the first Vietnamese American U.S. senator who will be inaugurated on the 50th anniversary of the fall of Saigon.
Well, how's the race going right now? Because I've seen reports from the Kaine campaign that you're trying to duck a debate with him or something. That doesn't sound like you. What's going on here, and how are the polls looking for you?
Well, what they did is Tim Kaine put out a memo saying, I'm going to debate him this day and this day. Like, no, there's a negotiation that comes in, and we're not going to, I'm not going to walk into a lion's den wearing a pork chop jacket, right? I mean, we're going to go in there and we're going to do the right thing for the people of Virginia, and we're going to have the right representation. And so we're going to debate him on October 2nd down in Norfolk State, and then there's going to be, moderators from both sides that will make this fair and equal, and we're going to ask real questions.
October 2nd? That's like 3 weeks after early voting's already begun.
I know, but that's the time that they could come up with, because before they would just do it like after our RNC convention, for example. They would love nothing more than to do it in a time that's not opportune for us. I mean, hey, I'll do it right during the DNC convention if you want to. But the fact is that we have to come to an agreement, and that's what we agreed on is October 2nd down in Norfolk State.
Now, I want to go back to this great scene at this Vietnamese restaurant, Eden Center. Those who live in the Northern Virginia area know that is sort of a wonderful area for the Vietnamese community, lots of restaurants and grocery stores. It seemed like the folks in that Vietnamese restaurant were really enthusiastic. What was it like being in there, and tell us about it, and what were some of the things you heard?
It's almost like a little mini rally, because everywhere President Trump goes, he's got these huge followers, and he always tells me, he's like, the Vietnamese community, they follow me everywhere I go, and because they're so extremely excited for him. And of course, he goes into the heart of the Vietnamese American community, which is in Eden Center, like you said. And gosh, I mean, it was, he couldn't get a word in edgewise because they were just chanting his name and just and of course taking selfies because we are Asian, so we took a lot of pictures with him.
That's great.
Well, and Hung, so what are you looking at now? It's, as I said, we're hitting Labor Day, and it's time to focus like a laser beam and really put your strategy together. Where are you focusing most to try to make sure that the voters come out for you and make the case against Tim Kaine?
We're all over the Commonwealth of Virginia, and the biggest thing is the only way for me to get your voice out there is through commercials. I mean, mass media is the most important thing, and it costs a lot to get on WMAL, So I need to get the voters to come out.
It's not our fault. Hold on a minute.
No, it's the DC media market. Like just 1 week of commercials in Virginia costs $1.93 million. And so I'm just asking for your listeners to please donate, because if you want to get your voice out there, and if you want to flip the Commonwealth back to red, then I'm asking you to lean in and donate, because, I can't do this without your help.
Are you getting the support you need from the Republican Senate Committee? And I know if you're not, you probably won't say it because it'll make it worse, but, blink twice.
No, actually, we are. They're coming in behind us now because President Trump has made Virginia a battleground state, and they're seeing, the surge we have and the excitement, and so they're leaning into us now. But again, it might be too late, by the time they come in.
And one last thing, we've seen this sort of realignment going on with the Robert Kennedy people. I don't know how a third-party candidate like Kennedy or some of these independent voices like Tulsi Gabbard would affect your race necessarily, but it does change the conversation. It makes people re-examine the Republican ticket, doesn't it?
No, you're absolutely right. We're talking about the most unifying ticket. I mean, you got Elon Musk, you have the Teamsters, you have Tulsi Gabbard. I was in the car with her and Mike Waltz yesterday too, and and Robert F. Kennedy Jr. I mean, we are the inclusive party. I mean, President Trump went into a libertarian convention, for crying out loud, and at the beginning they were booing him. At the end, they were chanting his name.
Yeah, Hung Kao, thanks for joining us. Always good to talk with you, and it looked like it was a really solemn, important, and memorable day yesterday. It was good to see you up there with Trump and the whole team.
Thank you so much, guys.
We had a panel of House Republicans yesterday conduct not a formal hearing, but a panel discussion at Heritage Foundation. It included Representative Chip Roy. It included Representative Matt Gaetz. It included Andy Biggs. Take a listen to this segment from yesterday's discussion. This is Andy Biggs talking to Ben Schaefer, who is a SWAT counter sniper protecting Donald Trump.
As the Secret Service, did they have a person on the scene, a decision maker on the scene in case an emergency happened?
I believe that there were a Secret Service agent responsible for the scene. However, they were not, to my knowledge, co-located at the command center itself.
So I want to make clear. So who was present in the communications command center that might have made decisions for Secret Service?
Secret Service, on my understanding, is that the information that was gathered by the command center, which would have been being operated by the Butler Emergency Services Unit and the commander in that capacity. He was responsible for relaying that information to a point of contact he had, and my understanding was that it was over a cell phone as opposed to in-person communications.
Is that normal to have a cell phone communication, or is there usually a body there that can make a decision?
In most security postures and events that I've been part of for these types of events, there is someone actually physically co-located for that reason. Due to the loss of cell phone service, which we experienced that day.
Of course they lost cell phone service because there were thousands of people there all taking live stream videos of Trump at the rally. And why was it different this one day? Why suddenly were things different? Representative Eli Crane asked this question of WMAL host Dan Bongino, who, of course, was a Secret Service agent back during the first term of the Obama administration, and since then has turned to politics and to media, but he certainly has friends and sources still with the Secret Service.
Secret Service in a better spot today with Director Rowe in charge?
No, it's worse. And sadly, I'm glad this is all being recorded, because when something else happens, and I hope it doesn't, I pray to my Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ, that I'm wrong. That you play this and go, look, that guy was crazy. You think this is the last incident, you're out of your mind. We have seen these incidents over and over. We saw the Georgia grenade incident with President Bush. They overtook the magnetometers. The Secret Service leadership in charge now with the exact same people. Exact same. Can you imagine a C-suite at a company that makes widgets? We find out that there's a design defect. The widget explodes and kills 10 people, and the CTO gets a promotion to CEO. You understand that's what happened here, correct? These are the same people. Kim Cheadle, the director, wasn't even fired. She was allowed to resign. She'll go get some cushy job somewhere, and her deputy, who is one of the guys behind these stupid waste of time things like agents wearing red ties on the detail. Because this actually happened, by the way. These people will tell you this under oath if you get the right people. He was concerned about the tie color of the agents on the detail because it seemed to imply they supported President Trump. Congressman Biggs wearing a red tie. You're wearing a semi-red tie. It has nothing to do with anything. This is the kind of stuff the Secret Service was actually wasting their time with while withholding CSU counter surveillance assets and counter sniper assets from probably the most threatened man on earth. If you can explain it, good luck, because that's not the agency I worked for.
Dan Bongino yesterday at Heritage on this, and there's great stuff. And we're going to speak with Susan Crabtree, by the way, at Real Clear Politics, who's been covering this. She's joining us at 8:05. But, Julie, it further instills this sense of what happened on July 13th, that whether deliberately or not, whether through incompetence or not, whether through a change of priorities over things like a red tie or a DEI versus constantly being singularly focused on one thing and one thing only, and that is making every decision that protects the candidate or protects the asset or protectee, whatever the reason. It is hard to see these hearings and hard to read these reports and hard to get all of this information about what happened at the Secret Service leading up to July 13th and on the day of July 13th and not reach the conclusion that deliberately or not, the Secret Service allowed this to happen. They allowed it to happen either through incompetence or neglect or something even more nefarious.
Sinister. It's really sinister. And there's a couple nuggets from this story that really bother me. The Washington Regional SWAT counter sniper Ben Schaefer said it was absolutely concerning that the body of the shooter was disposed of before an official autopsy report could be released. What's the rush? They said the rooftop was scrubbed. What is going on? There is a lot of very concerning things coming out of this hearing. I'm glad they're doing it.
Yeah, like I said, Susan Crabtree coming up. It would be great to get to the bottom of this, before the election, to have some more details on that. And I sure hope the whistleblowers are being protected at the Secret Service, but I'm not holding my breath. Right now it's 7:22.
Making sense of your world.
Appreciate what you do.
News Talk 105.9 WMAL.
I completely agree with what you're saying.
Making sense of the news. Now.
On 105.9 FM and streaming worldwide on the WMAL app.
O'Connor and Company.
7:37 is the time, and we are flying through this very busy Tuesday morning. Thanks for joining us as we give you everything you need to know to get your day started the right way. Coming up at 8:05, Susan Crabtree of Real Clear Politics will give us more details on that House panel over the Secret Service yesterday. And then at 8:35, Representative Mike Waltz, Florida, join us talking about the 3-year anniversary of the Afghan terror attacks at Abbey Gate. I'm Larry O'Connor. That right there, that's Julie Gunlock. I know you. You're famous. Hi, Julie.
Oh, please. Good morning.
Oh, please. I love it when you jump into your Joan Rivers.
Please.
So there's now a new debate over the debate. I thought we had this settled. Just to give you a quick recap. Trump and Biden agreed on 2 debates. The first one, Donald Trump delivered the most stunning and most overwhelming presidential debate performance in American history. And it's never described that way. Do you notice that? Remember how the narrative after the debate was, well, he told like 27 lies.
Right.
The New York Times has documented.
They never got specific, of course. But
right, never.
Yeah.
And that's what Biden tried to hang on to, too. He's like, oh, everybody, why are you asking me about my debate performance? What about him? If you guys just wrote the stories the right way, everything would be fine. Yeah, that didn't work out well. Here's what really happened at that debate. Donald Trump turned in the most dominating, devastating presidential debate performance in American history. It was so bad that the candidate for president, the nominee for the Democrats, had to drop out just 3.5 months before Election Day. It's never happened before in history. And the second debate that they had agreed to on September 10th obviously was no longer going to happen because Biden was no longer the nominee. Right. So Kamala Harris steps in. She's given everything. She's given the crown. She's given the throne. She's given the nominee. No one has to vote. She's given hundreds of millions of dollars in campaign funding without actually having to ask for it.
Yep.
And so she assumes she can just inherit the debate. And she goes, well, we'll see you on September 10th. And the Trump people are like, whoa. We're not going to debate. You don't get to just the Democrats and Obama and all of the big funders and the power brokers and Nancy Pelosi may be just fine handing you everything that Biden had set up there for the nomination and all the money and all that. And you might not have to worry about the Democrat voters even voting for you to have all this power. But we're not going to roll over and give you the debate. You want a debate on September 10th? We'll talk to you about a debate on the September 10th.
Yep.
So they eventually came up with a deal. ABC, September 10th, here's the debate. They have their rules. That was settled like 2 weeks ago. Mm-hmm. And now suddenly, Kamala Harris, again, she doesn't say anything, but she's got all of her anonymous staffers that throw it out. They throw out this thing yesterday, and the media picks up and runs with it, saying, yeah, they want a new rule for the debate. They don't want the microphones shut off when the other person is talking.
Was one of Harris's demands, that the microphones be muted. So now she's reversed that. She wants them on, and we know why.
We know exactly. It is so transparent why they want these microphones on.
That's right.
It is, and everyone's saying, oh, because they want to show Trump what a bully he is because he's interrupting her all the time. No. They're begging for him to interrupt because, Michael, they want this moment. Cut 18. This was the debate with Mike Pence.
Well, let's get
but Susan, this is important. Susan, I want to add that Mr. Vice President, I'm speaking. I'm speaking.
Oh,
that's what they want.
Yes, but they also want that Trump is interrupting a black woman. They definitely want that. They're going to try to insert that into it being racist, it being sexist, it being he's a bully, but he's specifically a bully of a black woman.
You're right, but that's just the beginning of the narrative they want.
Yep.
The other part of that narrative is big, tough lady boss Kamala Harris.
Girl boss.
But
she persisted,
standing up to the sexist, racist bully.
Yes.
With this.
I'm speaking.
I'm speaking.
And
they've already got the memes already, the Brat Summer memes.
Larry, I was
speaking.
I was speaking.
I'm speaking. No,
I'm speaking.
Were you speaking? I thought I was speaking.
It's not going to work with me. No, but that you're absolutely right. They want her to put him in his place. And then they'll say, this is what she's going to do to world leaders.
Yes.
Right?
That's how she'll handle Putin.
Just like she did it with Bibi, who was laughing at her.
She won't have George Stephanopoulos running cover for her in those meetings, though.
Right.
Yesterday, Trump at the Trong Tien restaurant was asked about this. And so this became a big story yesterday suddenly. And by the way, any self-respecting journalist in the media should say, what are you talking about? The story should not be, Trump, will you agree to this? The story should be, what the hell are they doing trying to change the rules?
And honestly, Larry, the narrative coming out of this from Kamala Harris's campaign is because Trump understandably objected for all the reasons we just laid out. He said, wait a minute, I'm not going to walk into a bus. I'm not going to walk into a trap.
And we had rules set up. We agreed to this.
You can't just change the rules. Right.
Yeah.
And then the campaign goes, you scared? You scared?
That's right. Why is Trump scared to debate? All right, so here's what Trump had to say yesterday.
Would you want the microphones muted in the debate whenever you're not speaking?
We agreed to the same rules. I don't know. It doesn't matter to me. I'd rather have it probably on, but the agreement was that it would be the same as it was last time. In that case, it was muted. I didn't like it the last time, but it worked out fine. I mean, ask Biden how it worked out. It was fine.
Yeah, he then went on to say, we agree to the same rules. That's what it should be. They're trying to get out of it because she's not a smart person. She'd rather not debate. The good news is the Trump campaign has put out an ad that, frankly, is the only debate the American voter needs to know about. It's not the debate between Trump and Kamala Harris. It's the debate between Kamala Harris and Kamala Harris.
Everyday prices are too high. Food, rent, gas, back to school clothes. That is called Bidenomics. A loaf of bread cost 50% more today. Ground beef is up almost 50%. There's not much left at the end of the month. Bidenomics is working. The price of housing has gone up. It feels so hard to just be able to get ahead. And we are very proud of Bidenomics.
I'm Donald J. Trump, and I approve this message.
That's a good ad. They should run it a lot. It's 7:43.
Later this morning on the Chris Plante Show, RFK Jr. crossed an invisible line, so his own family gangs up on him to assassinate his character. 9 a.m. on WMAL.
It's been a minute and a half since we've had a Critter News story. Julie
so
Gunlock. I feel like it's because the news cycle has been a little relentless, as you know.
We've had some stuff to talk about.
We try our best to pick and choose and have a variety. Now, we had to talk about J-Lo and Ben Affleck getting divorced, of course. Right. And anytime Meghan Markle is in the news, we got to talk about that. Sometimes Critter News gets... and the whole assassination attempt at the Republican convention.
And, the appointment of Kamala,
That stuff also took precedence.
Yes.
Anyway, Critter News. This one is an all-American Critter News. It has to do with a bald eagle. We love bald eagles. And honestly, I love that bald eagles are they're officially no longer on the endangered list.
No, they're
right?
not.
I want to say, but they were so scarce for so long.
They were, and it's so funny. It's such a Gen X thing. When you see someone get really excited when they see a bald eagle, know they're Gen X.
That's 100%.
Right, because we grew up knowing that these birds were dying.
They're almost gone.
Almost gone.
The only way you're going to see them is in a zoo,
Encyclopedia Britannica.
Yes. And so it takes my breath away when I see a bald
My kids
eagle.
always laugh at me because I go bananas and start screaming and then probably scare it away. But they're like, that's not unusual, Mom. They live around here.
You know how Meredith and I love Mount Vernon. It's like one of our favorite little sanctuary places to go in this whole
They're all
area.
over there.
Every year, we always go to the July 4th fireworks that they do. They're the weekend before July 4th. They're on George Washington's backyard. It's a separate ticketed event. You sit there and eat. They've got a symphony orchestra playing patriotic music, and you see fireworks shot over the Potomac. It's just perfect. It's perfect.
Except for the heat and humidity, but
Except for the heat and humidity. Last year, when we were waiting, sun was just going down, beautiful sky color. You can see reflections on the Potomac. It wasn't dark enough for fireworks yet, but it was just dusk. It was just like the sun was barely down. And overhead at Mount Vernon, a bald eagle starts circling over us.
Are you going to cry?
I was like, that has to be a drone. That has to be audio animatronic. There's no way that's real.
It's too perfect.
And then we go on an Alaska cruise, and if you ever go through the Ketchikan Bay, they're like pigeons up there, right?
Yeah.
So that said, whenever the bald eagle is in the news, we're Washington, D.C.
We get a little
it's
too
WMAL.
excited.
We love America. We're patriotic. We're going to tell you this story. And this is a great story because there was a bald eagle at Wilson's Creek National Battlefield in Missouri, and this was sort of like one of those bald eagles that sort of the locals know, and they see it around all the time. They were afraid that this bald eagle was mortally injured because it was just sort of hobbling around. It wasn't able to fly. It was just, they were like, everyone was concerned. It's like, oh my gosh, this bald eagle, what happened? Did it,
Yeah.
you know, what
did it break a wing?
Yeah.
Did it, like,
it's
what?
horrible.
Right.
The good news is everything's fine. The bald eagle was just, what's the way to put it? Morbidly obese.
Okay, wait a minute. Hold on.
This is an
it's
allegory.
Temporary. It's a little temporary.
Well, yeah, it's not like forever.
Okay, they took an X-ray and they found
they got the eagle. They said, "What is wrong with this eagle? It's bloated. It's terrible. This is horrible."
And again, they think it's like got a broken ring or
right,
a broken
or a
foot
giant
or something.
tumor or something.
Right.
Yeah.
It turns out that the X-ray showed that he or she, I'm not sure actually, had eaten an entire raccoon. Okay, look, images shared on Facebook showed the raccoon paw that appeared to be on the eagle's X-ray, trying to get out, no doubt.
Yeah,
and the bird's bloated stomach. The photo of the bald eagle no longer weighed down by. They got rid of it. I think they went in.
Such badass predators.
Oh,
though. Just think about that.
Yeah.
In one sitting, ate an entire raccoon.
Wow.
Clearly, this eagle is a Chiefs fan.
Raccoons are kind of creepy, I gotta say.
Oh yeah, no. If I want our national symbol to be eating up trash pandas at every turn. That's what they're there for. But like a true Kansas City Chiefs fan, it's like they don't stop after just one helping. They're not like
beacon.
Oh no, I've had enough. No, I'll take 2 slabs of ribs, thank you very much. And I'm not getting up from this table until I eat the entire raccoon.
In defense of the X-ray of the poor eagle, we've all felt a little loaded down after eating too much. So
the owl, nicknamed Plump, rescued from a ditch, weighed a rather chunky 245 grams.
Owl? Have we moved on to another bird
I'm
story?
so sorry. I just moved on to a different part of the story. You're right. Apparently, this is not the only thing that's happened.
Apparently obesity is raging in the bird world.
What is going on?
What is happening?
We need RFK to get on top of this. Make America birds healthy again.
Special panel.
I hope there were no chemicals involved in this.
Of course.
Diet. So anyway, the eagle is fine. We're very happy to report that the eagle is fine now that there was it was roadkill. Basically, the eagle ate some roadkill. It was too much. This is a scene from Hillbilly Elegy, actually.
It was like a all-you-can-eat buffet for the eagle. He just went a little too far.
They haven't named the eagle, though?
Not that I see. He's wild.
I guess. Well, they got to name it. What would you name an eagle that was so fat it couldn't fly because it ate too much?
Oh, gosh. Redneck?
Whoa!
I don't know.
You're talking about 30% of our listeners there. Come on. It's 7:53.